Hello, I'm Richard Raffan. I have here some elm blanks. They were cut as bowl blanks. They're around 160mm by 100, which is just over 6 inches by 4 inches. They've got splits, they've got woodworm, something I wouldn't waste time putting on the lathe like this, and I certainly wouldn't go to the expense of filling all the cracks with epoxy. It probably runs into tens of dollars. Much better just to get a nice clean blank out of it and turn that. When these blanks were cut, whoever cut them did not cut clear of the pith, which is there. You can see where all the tight growth rings are, and that was the first problem. So that when wood splits, it splits generally from the pith. These rings are all busy trying to straighten themselves out as the wood dries. These are fairly well seasoned. They feel very dry. I didn't feel the need to put a meter on them. You can see those little splits have developed. They can probably be filled, but I would want to get rid of the pith because we have this big split across the top. So that split there goes down to that point. So you're losing nearly half the blank there, and it's going to be much the same. So I think if I put this on the lathe, which I'm inclined to, rather than mess around with it here, I'll probably turn all that away. So look at that a little bit later. This one, same thing, failed to cut clear of the pith, so you've got this huge split here. This one here, heaven knows how far that one goes. I'll stick a ruler in and see. More than halfway. So this just needs cutting initially on that line, just straight down the center to cut clear of the splits, basically. We'll do that shortly. This one, not quite so bad. The split here is across that way and looks pretty clean until we get to the other side. So I'm still inclined to cut this one across there. And what that is going to give me, once I've cut it across there, is that will be the top of the bowl. Therefore I have a 4-inch bowl, about a 4 by 2.5 sitting in there. So that's going to be about 100 by 70mm, something like that. So I should be able to get 2 blanks out of that. That's number 3. Number 4, marks the same again. The pith still there, and pith there. So I think I'm going to, and there's some worm activity in the sap, which is where you'd expect it. And so this I can first cut out the worm there and proceed from there. Anyway, we'll look at these blanks one at a time. So we'll start off with the worst of them. Big split there, which comes on through up to here. So first, straight through the middle, following this line. And it looks very nice inside. So next thing is to cut off a piece ready to make this square. So this is getting a bit wobbly, so put it on the steadier side. So I can cut off that, which gives me the width I want. And when I'm looking at the back here, I can probably take off some of that. That looks clean. Now, there's a split here. So that means I'm going to come up to this end. By the time I cut a circle on that, that little bit will vanish. One bowl, 4 1/4, which is 105 millimeters, by 55 mil, which is just over 2 inches. Now this one, first is just to take off the rest of that split. And really this is the, don't really want to do it that way. I'd rather try and get it at an angle so that I can cut in on the line of the split at that angle, which is going to be a little bit tricky from here. No, we'll do it. So there's a split up there. Take that off. That hollow noise in the middle of that cut was the end of the split, just in here. Now that allows me to put this through at an angle. So all the splits is now in the offcut, or not all of it, but most of it. That runs down there. That's a very nice clean bit of old elm, so that will go for pen blanks or something like that. This can be squared up. And use the offcut to gauge the squareness. Right. So from the first blank I basically have a small square which will be an end grain project. There's a defect here that will turn away, so small box, small scoop, small vase, something like that. I have no idea what that could be at the moment. That could be anything from a handle, yes, who knows, and a bowl. Now basically the same with the other pieces. Wormhole, which comes out just there. I can see a filled gap, so if that's going to be the base of the bowl, that will turn away. Splits I could possibly fill, but probably won't. So I turn this over so that I get a face more or less at right angles to this one. There's a split down through there, so I need to come through, cut those away. I'm going to come off, take a wedge. Splits all the way through there. A little bit difficult to know what to do with that one, so I'm going to take off a chunk there, which I have to take off anyway if I'm going to, no matter what I'm going to do there. Still a split there. So this is looking, yep, goes all the way through. So this is looking like an in-grain blank. Nasty little white stuff there that could be silica, could be anything. Worm up in here, so this bit straight through, and I think that is just about big enough for pen blanks. I want a square out of that. So one option here is to take this down, put it on the lathe and turn this lot away. So I'm left with a wider, flatter dish, but I've got big splits here. So I think I'll just go through as I did with the other ones. So I need to take off some of this so I've got a reasonable base for my respective bowl. And that will make a little dish. The final one. Now this I can put back on the lathe and just turn that away, and so that is what I'll do with that one. So at this stage I've got 3 100 by 55 millimeter bowls, one which is about 40 millimeters, 1 3/4, and a couple of I think probably box blanks and pens or small handle, something like that. The larger blank has been drilled for the screw chuck. As usual, don't need all that screw. Now I'm just going to take the outside off first, all the bark, and then see where the pith is. Using just to the left of the nose of the tool. As soon as you can get a foot on it, do so. So if it does slip on the screw, you can grip it from the other way around. 1 foot, we'll have another one. That's a bug hole, which I hope is joined up, and I can see little white dots through here, which if they're on the other side is silica, which means the edge is likely to come off the tool. Little puff of dust there, that's the dust where the woodworm was. Looks like an adventurous couple of borers in there, which is a pity. and just line up where the bottom of the pith is, which is there, and so I'll take off the top of this. Now the silica is a real nuisance because it just takes the edge off the tool, and I can actually see it better on the camera than I can in directly. So it's all the way down this growth ring here, and the chances are you'll find it on the other side, over here somewhere. Cut isn't quite so clean here, so little white dots all the way up here. So that means when I'm working it, it'll take the edge off the tool, but it usually seems to sand okay, so that's the good news. So now to reduce that, I'm going to do that with the tool, same tool as the 1/2" spindle gouge, using the right wing. Right, I'm going to extract the center here using my slicing tool. Speed comes up. I just hope it's broken straight, which it has. Speed up now to 1600. Breadcrumbs up slightly. Take the sharp edge off, and there's another little bowl I wasn't really expecting. Now there's a split which comes down to there, so I might as well take that off now while I'm aware of it. That funny rim will remind me that it's there, but in fact it seems to have gone. Or is it? No, it's just a hint there. But anyway, that will be fine. I suppose if there was really valuable timber, I could take another one out. I did wonder about just parting the bowl bit off, but thought I might as well turn it off, probably as fast. Still with a 1/2" spindle gouge, 1/2" flute. I'm now running at 1700. Now that is going to have to go back on the lathe, gripped from this side, so I can get at the whole of the outside. So just a shade low. And bring it up so the tool pitched down very slightly. Big enough for that to go back on this chuck, so when it gets to be finished off, that will go onto there, expand there, and away you go. You've got the whole of the outside exposed. Finally, a reminder of what we've got. I've got my 4 little 4" 100mm diameter bowls. I've got this larger one which looks as it's ended up at about 120. No, it hasn't. 150, which is 6 inches, and it is 3 inches high, 75mm. So that's very good. And I got the little bowl out of the middle of that one. So I'm quite satisfied with what I've got out of those 4 not particularly good blanks.